The grand hall of the Galactic Council was filled with noise. Alien leaders from many different worlds sat around a large round table. Their faces showed worry, fear, and confusion. One of them, a tall, insect-like being with green skin and large black eyes, stood up and said, "This thing destroyed our best soldiers in less than 1 hour." Another, with glowing blue skin and sharp fins along his head, added, "Our fleets were turned to dust. Our drones couldn't track it. It moved like lightning." A third leader, who floated above the floor in a metal orb, said, "We've never seen anything like this. It kills fast, disappears even faster. We believe it might not be from this galaxy." The room went silent for a moment. Then one voice spoke, calm/soft, but with a strange power behind it. "How many worlds has it attacked so far?" Every eye turned toward the human ambassador. She stood near the corner of the room, quiet until now. Her name was Claire. She wore no armor, no weapons, just a simple black suit with the Earth flag on one sleeve. The insect leader answered, 7 worlds. All defense systems failed. Entire armies gone." Claire nodded slowly. "And you believe it is a beast?" The blue-skinned alien replied. "What else could tear through a shielded fortress with claws and disappear before scanners activate?" "Maybe it's something more than a beast," Claire said softly. "Maybe it's something trained, something that remembers." The leaders looked at each other nervously. The metal orb hovered closer. "Ambassador Claire, will Earth help us?" She didn't answer right away. She looked at the table, then at the stars shown on the screen behind the council. Finally, she said, "You want Earth's deadliest beast?" They all nodded. She gave a small smile. "I'll handle it." Before they could ask more questions, she turned and walked away. Outside the council hall, her assistant, a young alien named Juno, ran to catch up. "Ambassador, you're going alone?" "Yes," Claire said. "But this thing, it's dangerous. We lost hundreds, maybe thousands." Claire didn't stop walking. "That's why I'm going. Do you need a weapon? Armor? Backup?" She shook her head. "No, just a ride." A few hours later, Claire stood at the edge of the battle zone. The planet had been green once, full of life. Now it was broken. Fires still burned in the distance. The sky was thick with smoke. Wrecked ships and crushed mechs lay scattered like toys. A group of alien soldiers waited for her at the landing site. Their leader, a short reptile-like being with golden armor, stepped forward. "You're Claire?" "Yes," she said. He looked around. "Where's your team?" "Sure." Looking at it, he blinked. "No offense, but you're just one human. We were expecting something bigger." Claire stepped off the ship and walked past him. "You asked for Earth's deadliest beast? I came." He frowned. "You don't even have a scanner." "Don't. Need one?" Claire moved through the ruined area calmly. The soldiers followed behind, whispering to each other. Some laughed. Others looked nervous. She stopped near a large crater. Pieces of broken armor and weapons were scattered inside it. She kneeled, touched the blackened ground, and closed her eyes. The wind was still. Then it shifted. Something distant, something wrong, moved in the air. She opened her eyes. "He's nearby." The alien leader looked confused. "Who's nearby?" Claire stood up slowly. "It's a thing you're afraid of? You mean the beast?" She turned to face him. "No, the student." "Student?" he asked, his voice shaking slightly. She nodded. "I trained him. Long ago. Before the program was shut down." "What program?" She didn't answer. Instead, she started walking toward a ruined building. Her steps were slow but sure, like she already knew where to go. Soldiers didn't follow this time. "Ma'am, you can't go alone." One of them shouted, but Claire kept walking. Inside the building, broken walls and shattered glass made the air feel heavy, but Claire walked like she was home. She stopped at the center, where claw marks covered the walls. Then she whispered, "I know you're here." For a moment, nothing happened. Then a deep growl echoed from the shadows. A tall figure stepped out from the darkness, not fully beast, not fully man. Strong muscles, glowing eyes, sharp claws. But when he saw Claire, He didn't attack. Instead, he smiled. "You came," he said, his voice low. "Of course I did," Claire replied. "They sent you. They didn't know who they were asking for. But when they said Earth's deadliest beast, I knew they meant you." He chuckled. "They think I'm a monster." "Are you?" she asked. He looked down at his hands. "I became one. After they shut us down, you were always strong. But you weren't made for destruction." He took a step closer. "Feared me. They still do." Outside, the soldiers watched the building from a distance. They saw shadows moving. Then the ground rumbled. They grabbed their weapons, ready to charge. But before they could move, Claire walked out. Alone. Not a scratch on her. She looked calm. One soldier asked, "What happened in there?" Claire looked back at the building. Just an old conversation. "Did you defeat it?" She smiled. "Not yet. But we understand each other. So what now?" Claire cracked her knuckles and said, "Now the real work begins." The soldiers stood still as Claire walked past them. Her boots crushed broken glass and ash. No one dared stop her. Her face was calm, but her eyes held something deep, something heavy. The leader of the alien soldiers, Captain Nira, followed, a few steps behind. "Ambassador Claire," he said quietly. "Was that really the beast?" Claire didn't turn around. "It's not a beast. His name is Silas." Captain Nira blinked. "Silas, you know him?" "Yes," Claire replied. "I trained him." They reached the command center, a broken tent filled with hollow screens and tired officers. Claire walked inside. Everyone turned to her, expecting orders, answers, something. She simply said, "I need a secure room and a connection to Earth." "What for?" a tech officer asked. "To wake up old memories," Claire answered. She was taken to a quiet room. At the back of the camp, there with a shaky signal, she connected to Earth's old black archive, a hidden database no one outside High Command knew about. It required voice print, retina scan, and a short phrase. Claire spoke the phrase in a low voice. "He is not the monster, but we are." The screen blinked. Access granted. Her fingers moved across the panel. Old files opened. One name appeared. Again and again, Project Echo Blood. Claire leaned back and closed her eyes. The past came rushing in. Years ago, Earth feared war with stronger alien empires. Humans were smart, tough, and fast, but not enough to beat entire fleets alone. So they created Project Echo Blood, a top-secret human training program to make something new, something beyond human. They called it Peace Through Fear. Dozens of children were chosen. Orphans, forgotten kids, kids with no records. Claire was one of them. So was Silas. They were trained in cold mountains, deep caves, and space stations far from the world. No comfort, no warmth. Just pain, training, and survival. But Claire remembered Silas as different. He was quiet, kind, even funny when he could be. He learned faster than anyone. He was strong, but never cruel. They became friends, partners, almost like family. But something happened. Silas pushed himself too far. One day during a trial, he broke the rules. He didn't just defeat the enemy drone, he destroyed the whole training arena. When Command saw the footage, they said he was unstable, so they locked him away. Claire had fought to stop them, begged them, said he wasn't dangerous. But no one listened. The project was shut down. The kids were scattered. Some disappeared. Others became agents. Claire chose diplomacy. She thought Silas was gone forever. Until now. Claire opened her eyes. A voice behind her said, "You open the files again?" She turned. Silas stood at the door. His face was half in shadow, but he looked more human now. Calmer. "You followed me," she said. "I never left," he replied. "You were the only one I trusted." Claire stood. "You've been causing panic across 7 star systems." Silas shrugged. "I didn't ask them to attack me. You didn't stop them either." He looked at her. Would they have stopped? For me? She didn't answer. Instead, she asked, "Why now? Why return after all these years?" Silas sat on a nearby chair. I heard a call, a message sent from this world. Something about a beast. It made me laugh. Then it made me curious. So. You came. Yes. And when I got here, I saw what they did to this planet. Their machines, their mining, their labs. They hurt the locals. Used them like tools. I couldn't just walk away. Claire understood. This wasn't madness. It was justice. Maybe his way was rough, but his heart was still the same. They think you're a monster, she said. They always did, Silas replied. They're afraid of you. Are you? Claire stepped closer. Never. They sat in silence for a moment. The air outside was filled with distant thunder. Storms. Were forming above the ruins? Silas asked. Why did you come alone? Because they didn't need armies. They needed understanding. And maybe a reminder. A reminder of what? Claire looked him in the eyes. That we're not weapons. We're people. Silas smiled faintly. It's been a long time since someone called me that. Then maybe it's time you heard it again. He stood up. They'll want to stop me. Or worse, lock me away. Not if you come with me. Silas raised an eyebrow. You think they'll forgive this? No. But I can protect you from the council. If you give me your word, no more attacks, no more fear. Silas looked out the window. Rain began to fall, slowly washing the ashes from the ground. Finally, he nodded. I'll give you my word. Claire took a breath. It wasn't over yet, but this was a beginning. Outside, Captain Nira saw them walk out together. He froze. Is this safe? He asked. Claire nodded. Yes, but keep your men calm. Any sudden move might break the peace. Nira didn't look. Convinced, but he gave the order. As Silas walked beside her, some soldiers stared in awe. Others stepped back in fear. Claire stayed close to him. What now? He asked quietly. Now, she said, we show them what trust looks like. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with rising voices. Screens showed reports from the war-torn planet, and every image caused more confusion. Some clips showed a massive figure destroying enemy ships with bare hands. Others showed Claire walking. Beside that same figure, calm and unafraid. That thing is walking free, one council member shouted. She brought it back to camp like a friend. Another said, this is madness. The creature destroyed military bases. The leader of the council, an old alien with silver eyes and long robes, raised his hand. The room slowly grew quiet. Ambassador Claire was trusted to respond to this. Crisis, he said. And so far, she has brought peace, not more war. Peace. A council member scoffed. Only because the beast chooses not to strike for now? The leader pressed a button. The screen changed to show Claire sitting. Beside Silas at a campfire, they weren't talking, just watching the fire. Both calm. Does that look like a monster? The leader asked. No one answered. Back on the planet, things were still tense. Soldiers moved carefully around Silas. They didn't speak to him unless Claire was there. Some avoided looking at him at all. Others watched every step he took, like it was a trap. Claire understood their fear, but she knew Silas better than anyone. He didn't want more blood. He just wanted to be seen, heard, maybe even forgiven. Captain Nira approached her as she sat on a metal crate near the fire. Ambassador, the council has called an emergency meeting. They want to see you in person. Claire stood. Do they know I'm bringing him? They didn't say then. I'll bring him anyway. Nira's eyes widened. Is that wise? Claire looked at Silas. He was drawing something in the dirt with his finger, a circle, then a line through it. It was the symbol for home. It's necessary, she said. An hour later, they were both inside a sleek council transport ship. Claire sat across from Silas in silence. The stars moved past them like streaks of light. The pilot didn't speak, not even once. Are you nervous? Silas asked. No, Claire said. They should be. He smirked, still fearless. Not fearless, she said. Just tired of people judging what they don't understand. They arrived at the council station, enormous. Floating city above a glowing blue planet. Security team waited for them. No weapons were pointed. Tension hung in the air like a knife. As they walked through the long halls, whispers followed them. Is that really him? He doesn't look that dangerous. That's the one who ripped through 5 Warmechs. With his bare hands, Silas ignored them. Claire walked beside him, head held high. Inside the council chamber, hundreds of eyes turned to them. Claire stood at the center, with Silas behind her. The leader of the council rose from his seat. Ambassador Claire, he said, you have brought a guest. Claire nodded. You asked for Earth's deadliest beast. Here he is, but he's not a beast. His name is Silas. He's a human being. Our council member stood. He destroyed our fleets. He defended himself, Claire said. Check the records. He never attacked first. Every battle began with your ships firing at him, another member said. Even so, his strength is beyond reason. How can we ever trust him? Silas stepped forward. You trusted machines? You trusted armies? Did they save you? The room went silent. I didn't want to fight, Silas continued. But every time I was seen, your people attacked me. They didn't ask questions. They saw me and opened fire. Leader raised a hand. And what do you want now? Silas paused, then said, peace. The council murmured again, Claire added. He could have destroyed this station. He didn't. He could have stayed hidden and caused more chaos. He didn't. Instead, he trusted me. Now it's your turn. Ah! The council leader leaned back in his seat. What would you have us do? Stop chasing ghosts, Claire said. Stop using fear to decide your future. A long silence followed. Then the leader nodded. We will discuss. Claire and Silas were taken to a guest room while the council argued behind closed doors. The room was small, but clean. Silas sat on the bed. Claire leaned against the wall. You spoke well, she said. I just told the truth. You always did. Silas looked at her. You know they won't accept me. Some will. Others won't, but they needed to see you, not the legend, not the rumor. You, he smiled. You still believe in me. I never stopped. That night, the council sent a message. They would not punish Silas, but they would not welcome him either. He would be watched, monitored, tested. It wasn't peace. But it wasn't war. For Claire, that was enough for now. As they returned to the ship, Silas asked, what next? We keep walking, Claire said, together. And as the stars stretched out before them once more, the galaxy held its breath not from fear, but curiosity. Because Earth's deadliest beast had a name, and a story that wasn't over yet. The stars outside the ship looked calm, but Claire's mind was not. She sat in silence while Silas rested nearby. He had fallen asleep with his arms crossed and his back against the wall like he didn't trust the bed. Claire didn't blame him. They were returning to the war-torn planet. But something didn't feel right before leaving the council station. She had received a private message from an old Earth contact. It was marked top secret. She didn't open it until now. She tapped the screen. The message played without sound. Words scrolled quickly. Her eyes moved faster. We've discovered the truth. The beast was never the threat. The attacks were tests. Someone wanted to measure Silas's strength. Someone within the council. Claire's heart skipped a beat. She read the rest of the message. It ended with coordinates deep and uncharted. Space and one line. They're building more like him. Claire turned to Silas. He was still asleep. Peaceful for once. But how long would that peace last? The next day, they landed on the old base again. The soldiers there were calmer now. They didn't raise weapons. Some even nodded at Silas when he walked past. He didn't smile, but he didn't growl either. It was a small step. Captain Nira met them outside the command tent. The council said you're cleared to stay. Under observation, we'll do our best to give you space. Claire thanked him. It won't cause trouble. Nira looked at Silas. I hope not. Some still fear him. They feared fire too, Claire said, till they learned how to use it. Later, in a quiet part of the base, Claire showed Silas the message. He read every word slowly. When he finished, he didn't speak. "Silas?" Claire asked. His eyes were cold now. "So they used me again." "Not all of them," Claire said. "But someone inside the council wanted data. They sent ships to fight you. They watched you survive. Got it now, they're making more." Claire nodded. "That's what the message says. Copies of me? Or something worse?" Silas stood and paced the room. "Do you have the coordinates?" Claire showed him. "But if we go, we'll be breaking orders. The council will see it as betrayal. They already see me as a problem," he said. "And me?" she asked. He looked at her. "You're the only one who ever saw me as a person." She smiled faintly. "Then let's prove them wrong. Then let's stole a small scout ship and left quietly. No alarms, no warnings." They knew time was short. Whoever was behind the secret project would move fast. They reached the edge of known space 2 days later. The ship slowed near a hidden asteroid belt. Between the rocks was something massive, a black facility floating without lights or markings. It didn't show up on scans. It didn't answer signals. "This is it," Claire whispered. Silas narrowed his eyes. "I feel something. People inside. Like you." He didn't answer. He only reached for the hatch. They docked the ship and entered quietly. The halls were clean but cold. No guards. Oh, no alarms, only silence. Then they heard footsteps. 3 figures appeared ahead, tall, muscular, human-like, but their eyes glowed red. Their faces had no expression. They moved in perfect sync. Claire whispered, "Clones." "No," Silas said. "Experiments." One of the figures raised a hand and spoke. The voice was flat. "Target Silas. Level match. Begin." Then they charged. Silas stepped forward without fear. Claire backed up, looking for cover. The fight was fast. Too fast. Fists hit metal walls. Sparks flew. One of the attackers slammed into Silas and sent him crashing through a door. The others followed. Claire ran to help. But something stopped her. A voice from a speaker above. "Ambassador Claire." The voice said calmly, "You were not supposed to come." She looked up. "Who are you?" "Someone who sees the future. A future without weakness, without fear." Silas was only the beginning. "You're making weapons out of people, not people, tools." Silas was useful but too human. We fixed that. Claire's hands curled into fists. "Where are you?" "Far away, but watching. Always watching." No. She turned and ran toward the broken door. Inside, Silas was bleeding. But the 3 attackers were on the floor and moving. "They're fast," he said, breathing hard. "But they don't feel. They don't think." "Can you keep going?" Claire asked. "Always." They moved deeper into the base. Room after room was filled with machines, tanks of strange liquid, and empty pods. Claire found a control panel and copied everything to a drive. Names, numbers, locations. They had to expose this. The galaxy needed to know. As they reached the escape corridor, the base began to shake. "Self-destruct," Claire said. "They're covering their tracks." They ran back to the ship. The engines roared as they flew away. Behind them, the black base exploded into fire and dust. Claire looked at Silas. "You okay?" "Yeah, just angry." "Me too." "What?" Now, Claire looked at the stars ahead. "We go back, show the council everything, and we ask a simple question. Which one of you tried to play God?" Silas nodded. "Let's see who still wants to call me a beast after they see what a real monster looks like." The council chamber was silent. Not a whisper. Not a breath. Every screen in the room now showed the stolen footage. Claire had brought back rows of strange cloning tanks. Red-eyed copies fighting in darkness, and a voice speaking clearly from hidden speakers. A voice that belonged to someone the council knew. "Pause it there," Claire said, pointing. The image froze. She walked toward the screen and zoomed in on a small reflection, barely visible, but real. It showed a face behind Glass, not a stranger. A face that belonged to one of the council's own. Gasps filled the room. That's Counselor Travak. Someone shouted, "He's been part of the council for over 60 years. He helped write the weapons agreement." Claire turned to face them all. He also used the galaxy's fear of Silas to begin his own secret program. He tested clones. He built a lab outside council space, sent soldiers to provoke Silas, and watched him fight, just to collect data. Travak was not present today. His seat was empty. His signal had gone dark the moment Claire's ship landed. Silas stood. Beside her, he didn't speak. He didn't need to. His eyes said enough. They were tired, cold, not from anger, but from knowing he had been used again. The council leader, the one with silver eyes and long robes, stood slowly. "We owe both of you a deep apology," he said. Claire didn't nod or smile. She said, "Apologies don't fix what's coming." Those clone programs weren't stopped. They were scattered. Whoever was helping Travak, they're still out there. A council member spoke up. "What do you mean?" Claire held up the data crystal. "There are 10 locations like the one we destroyed. 10. A wave of unease moved through the chamber. Silas finally spoke. "I'm not your enemy, not unless you make me one." His voice wasn't loud, but it felt heavy. "True. What do you ask of us now?" the council leader said. Claire stepped forward. "I want a full investigation. Open, honest. Every member of this council will be checked. No secrets, no lies." "And if we refuse?" one member asked. Claire looked at Silas, then back at the room. Then Earth walks away. No more help. No more protection. We'll guard our own skies and leave the rest to deal with the storm. No one spoke after that. Outside the chamber, Claire sat quietly on a bench. Silas joined her. They both stared at the stars through a wide glass window. "Do you trust them?" Silas asked. "Some of them," Claire replied, "but not all. They'll try to hide again. Probably. But this time, we're watching." A small drone floated toward them. It blinked blue, showing a message. "Council vote full investigation approved. Public notice in 3 days." Claire exhaled. "It's a start." Silas nodded. "They still look at me like I'm a danger." "You are," Claire said, smiling a little. "Just not to the ones who deserve peace." He chuckled. "That's fair." They spent the next 2 days inside a secure zone. Investigators began sweeping through the council records. One by one, names surfaced. Silent partners. Hidden ships. Messages connected to Travak's secret lab. Some of the guilty members fled. Some confessed, but the biggest surprise came when Claire received a coded message sent from a remote moon near the outer rim. "They've made one stronger than Silas, and it's awake." She read the message 3 times, then looked at Silas. "We're not done," she said. He didn't ask questions. He just stood up. "Where?" They flew to the moon in a fast, unmarked scout ship. The moon looked dead from orbit, just gray rock and ice. But hidden beneath its surface was a deep facility. This one was different. It wasn't abandoned as they landed. Alarms rang. Defense drones rose from the ground. Silas leapt from the ship and ripped one out of the air before it fired. Claire ducked behind a rock and used a signal jammer. Together they pushed forward. The entrance was hidden behind a wall of ice. Silas punched through it. Inside, the facility was alive. Red lights blinked. Voices spoke through speakers. "You shouldn't have come, Claire. It was Travak. This project is bigger than fear. Bigger than peace. We're building the next age." Claire shouted, "You're building nightmares." "No," Travak said. "I'm building perfection, and you're just in time." To meet him, a large door opened. Steam poured out, and then it stepped forward. The thing that came out looked like Silas, but larger, taller, more armor-like skin, and behind its red eyes, no soul. Claire froze. Silas didn't. He stepped forward. "I'm not your copy," he said. "I'm your end." The clone charged. Claire backed away as the 2 giants crashed into each other, shaking the ground. Fists flew. Metal cracked. One was trained to destroy. the other. It's protect. The fight was brutal, but Silas didn't give up. He fought like a man with nothing left to lose and something still worth saving. The ground cracked under their feet. The walls of the hidden base shook with every blow. Silas stood face to face with his strongest clone yet. The thing looked like him, but colder. Its eyes glowed red, and its movements were sharp like a machine. It didn't speak. It didn't think. It only attacked. Claire stood back near the wall, her heart pounding. She had seen Silas fight before, but this was different. The clone was built to defeat him. Faster. Heavier. Crueler. Silas blocked a punch and staggered back. Blood dripped from his mouth, but he smiled. "You're strong," he said, breathing hard, "but you're empty inside." The clone didn't respond. It just rushed again. The fight moved through the corridor. Metal bent. Lights burst. Silas ducked a kick and slammed his fist into the clone's side. It didn't slow down. Claire knew Silas was hurting. She could see it in the way he moved. Now, careful, but still fighting above them. Trivok's voice echoed through the speakers. "This is the future," he said proudly. "No weakness, no hesitation. My creation is perfect." Claire ran to a control panel nearby. Her fingers moved fast. She needed a way to stop the clone, or at least help Silas. She found the power grid. It was tied to the walls, the lights, and something more, something buried under the floor. A cord, a power source, bigger than needed for just one clone. Then she saw more sealed pods deep in the lower levels. "Still growing?" "No," she whispered. "You're building an army." She turned on her mic. "Silas. He has more of them." Silas dodged another punch and rolled to the side. "Figures," he said. "We can't let them wake up. Then end it." Silas charged again. This time he didn't go for strength. He went for speed. He ducked under a swing and jumped onto the clone's back, grabbing its neck. The clone slammed him into the wall, but Silas didn't let go. "You're not real," he growled, pulling hard. "You're just a shadow." The clone roared and threw him across the room. Silas landed hard, coughing, his body shaking. Claire watched, in panic. Then she made a choice. She reached into her coat and pulled out a small black device, Earth's last gift to her from the old project. It was a shutdown code, made for emergencies. It was supposed to stop any Echoblood subject if they lost. Control. She had sworn never to use it on Silas. But maybe it could stop the clone. She pressed the button. A loud pulse filled the room. The clone froze for half a second. It was enough. Silas jumped up, using his last strength, and punched the clone's chest. The metal cracked, wires snapped. He hit again and again. And again, the clone fell. Then it didn't move again. Silas dropped to his knees, breathing hard. Shaking, Claire ran to him. "Are you okay?" "Yeah," he said, smiling weakly. "It hurts, but I've had worse." "You did it." "You did." Claire helped him to his feet. "Come on, we have to destroy this place. There are more downstairs." They moved quickly. Claire set the ship to full energy blast. Would burn the base after they escaped. She also uploaded the full data too. The Council into Earth's command. Now the whole galaxy would know. As they flew away, the base exploded behind them. Fire lit up the stars. No clones survived in the ship. Silas sat quietly. His hands were bruised, his knuckles torn. Claire sat beside him. "You were willing to die?" she said softly. "I didn't want to. But if that's what it took to stop him, it doesn't I was ready." Claire looked at him. "You're not a beast. Not anymore. You never were." Smiled. When they returned to the council, everything had changed. Trivak had been arrested. Many of his secret partners had been exposed. Some tried to run. Some tried to lie. But the proof was too clear. The council gave Silas something no one expected: respect. They didn't praise him. They didn't thank him in speeches, but they gave him space. They listened, and for the first time they didn't fear him blindly. Claire stood with him in front of the large window, watching the stars once more. "What now?" Silas asked. "Whatever you want," Claire said. "You can rest, or explore. Or protect others like you did for me? He nodded. Maybe I'll build something. Not to fight. Just to live. That sounds good. He looked at her. I'll be okay? I have work to do. But yeah, I'll be okay. They stood together, not as soldier and weapon, but as friends. And across the stars, stories were told. Of a being once called Earth's deadliest beast. A monster, some had said. But those who met him knew better. He wasn't the end. He was the warning, and the hope that even the strongest could choose not to destroy but to protect.